What up, y'all? It's the Morning Hustle with L'Oreal and Kyle Santillian, and we love guests. Our door is always open, and today this brother that walked through the door, it's a pleasure to have this conversation. He's representing out of the south side of Chicago, doing some amazing things for the culture, even outside of music. We got to give it up for Vic Mensa in the building.
Hey, good morning, y'all.
What's
y'all
up,
feeling,
bro?
Man?
We're good. How about
Yeah,
you?
feeling good, man.
Yeah.
Seen you yesterday at the BET Hip Hop Awards.
Yeah, word.
Well, the taping, so
Yeah.
I don't know. We're not sure when this is going to air, but
For
did you
sure.
have a time there?
Had a
Is
good
there
time.
something? What happened there? Anything special?
Yeah, it's just cool to be in Atlanta. Cool to go to the awards. Like I've been on the site for a bunch of times, but I don't think I ever came and actually seen it. Not that I recall. You know?
Yeah,
So it was dope to just feel the energy in person. You know what I'm saying?
for sure.
Good time.
Speaking of energy, bro, I feel like with this new project, Victor, you got out, and everything that's going on in your life, I feel like there's been a shift in your personal energy.
Word.
I feel like, you can explain it a little bit, but I feel like, you seem happy. I see you smiling more, I feel like, than I used to. And I've talked to you a couple of
Just
different
keep
times.
that ice grill on.
Yeah, you feel me? I think the very first time I talked to you, man, we might have been backstage at Lollapalooza.
Word.
And I was like, he don't feel like talking to nobody right now. But talk a little bit about the shift in your energy and where you are in the space that you're in right now.
Energy drives what happens in your life. I don't think I
Get you a little
understood.
closer on the mic.
I don't think I understood that earlier, that I could intentionally cultivate a positive energy to manifest positive things. You know, it's like the driving force of spiritual evolution is personal problems. So going through tough times is a reason why God tests you. You know what I mean? And
That's true.
when you can start to contextualize adversity and recognize that this is something given to me to make me stronger, then everything is a blessing. I mean, every L is a lesson. So for me to go through a lot of things, many of them in the public sphere, some of them in the private sphere as well, it forced me to look in the mirror and look internally and learn about myself and how to be in the world to create the things I want. You know what I'm saying? And in the past, a lot of times, the things that I would do and say and the ways that I would act, I didn't recognize how they manifested the situations in my life. You know what I mean? And all the controversy and the drama and the beef. I mean, most of the time I thought I was right. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I'm
Are
saying?
you seeing that you weren't sometimes? But sometimes you were, right?
Not every truth has to be told all the time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I feel like I've come to a point where I'm not so concerned with being right. You know, I used to feel like if something was true, then it was not only my right, but my duty to say it at any time, regardless of the consequences, you know? But I'm not willing to burn down the house in that way just to get a point across at this time. Because I realized that my mission and my message was often lost in my delivery.
Right.
You know, I delivered things in such a way that people wouldn't even hear what I said. You know what I mean? They would just be like, "Oh, we don't fuck with you." You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
Yeah, they wouldn't even hear what it was I said. I've always been hyper intelligent. I've always been revolutionary. I've always stood on principle. And if you were to run down any list of the things that, I've took a stand on, most often they were things that we would all agree with if I was presenting them in a way that was not so offensive.
Right.
Understood.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you talk about sobriety a lot. Did that have anything to do with it too? Are you still clean? Are you not doing no alcohol, nothing like that?
Yeah. I'm 2 years sober now.
That's what's
And
up.
I think that definitely has a lot to do with transformation. You know what I'm saying? Because I call it raw dog in life. You know what I mean?
I'm not there yet, okay?
It's like you got to
I
deal
still
with
got the safe sex side of things.
I'll
but
still
like,
be hitting the bar every once in a while.
got to deal with things in real time, And that does give me a constant opportunity to rise to the occasion and not run from nothing that's going on. And also, I think a lot of the craziest decisions we make are usually tied to some type of substance or,
I will say that.
escapist
Yeah.
behavior, you know
I
what I
can
mean?
agree.
Yeah.
In one way or another, or in a pattern of those things. And I'm definitely not like on some high horse being like, y'all shouldn't do this, do
Yeah.
that. But for me right now, it's been necessary because, like I said, man, driving for spiritual evolution is personal problems, and dealing with all of that gave me the perspective that, like, okay, so you can either take all of this trouble and, just let it live inside you and continue to fight, or you could quit, or you could completely turn 180 and rise above these things.
I love that you
love
said
it.
turn 180 because everybody says 360
And then
you're
you're right back
in the
where
same-
you was.
You're right back in the same
For
place.
sure. So you put a lot of that growth into this new project, Victor, which is out right now. We want everybody to check it out. Quality project.
I appreciate
It's
that,
real
bro.
good.
Very
Yo,
good
Thank you
project.
guys,
Start to finish.
man.
Yeah, start to
I
finish.
appreciate that in a major
I,
way.
I tagged a couple of songs that I personally love. I love Sunset on the Low End.
Word.
That was
That's fire.
Southside Story with Common.
Word.
I think that's fire as well. And of course, man, you and Chance are like brothers, so you, Chance, and G Easy on Swish,
Swish is fire.
Yeah,
that's
that's fire.
love.
as
I
The
well.
appreciate
video's
y'all.
fire.
Yeah.
I was skateboarding on the car like
Yeah,
that.
that was dope. You got in a fight.
Yeah.
When's the last time you got in a physical fight?
I did a physical fight for my album release, actually.
I saw the promo. That's how you rolled out the album. You were in
Yeah.
the boxing ring, but I thought that was just, promo for the album. You actually took
No,
on
we
a
did
fight.
an actual fight. Hold on,
Wow.
let me see if I can show y'all.
He's only showing us because he won. Because if you did it, you'd be like, nah, I ain't getting a fight in a minute.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's
the promo,
funny.
you was in the ring. You and Chance was telling you to go in there and kill him.
He said,
Now, I love you and Chance relationship. We spoke to Chance not too long ago and talked about the festival.
Yeah.
And I know we'll get into that a little bit more after you show us this video because we're looking forward to it.
I'm
But
trying to find it.
oh, now maybe he did lose Kyle.
You crazy. Yeah.
Now he can't
Nah,
find
I
it.
can't find it.
So this was the album release event, and it was like I had built up to, this fight. And
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, like I said, I had saw clips, but I thought it was just promo. I thought you was getting your Rocky on.
Right. Why we ain't seen this on pay-per-view? This is pay-per-view worthy. What happened?
Obviously, you did it in Chicago. Where'd y'all do the fight at?
yeah, that was in Chicago.
Right, we're at in Chicago.
Man, we built the space, you know what I'm saying? So I have a cannabis brand in Chicago. It's called 93 Boys, and, we launched last year as the first black-owned brand to be legally
Fire.
sold in stores.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
we've been doing a lot of events this year, and so we built this space, basically brought a boxing ring in there, and it was an ill, experience because not only have I never seen somebody do that to release their album,
Yeah.
it was a way to really, push myself again. Obviously, in a musical sense, the creative process is pushing myself.
Right.
But even in the release of the album, we were 3 weeks out, and I'm talking to my manager, Peasy, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready to do to do all these rounds. You know what I mean? Like even 3 rounds is like
It's a lot.
it's a lot of
Yeah.
cardio, and
Yes.
I'm doing all the interviews and promotional things that you do when you're putting out an album. I'm like, yo, how am I gonna be prepared to do this in front of hundreds of people?
And you decided this 3 weeks before you was
I
gonna
had
do the
been
fight?
decided I wanted to do it,
But you ain't start
but I
training.
didn't. I mean, I was training.
Oh,
You know how I regularly train
Yeah.
with my trainer twice a week,
Yeah.
and weight training and all those things. But it's a different thing to be like, yo, boxers are disciplined people. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like a lot of running, miles and miles of running. You know what I mean? Maybe running 30 miles a week. You know what I
Right.
mean, or more. And yeah, so coming up to the release of the album, it was really just I had to push myself in another way to be prepared for that. And we doing runs at 5 a.m. and, just sparring and sparring and
Getting it
sparring
in.
and just getting prepared. And you know what it is? I try to arrange my life in such a way that I have to face fear as much as possible. Because the comfort zone is the enemy of growth. And a lot of us are out here just living in our comfort zone
Right.
in different ways, you know. Maybe it's the city where you're in, the people that you're spending time around. But it's the space of leaving the comfort zone that pushes you to grow. And every time I get in the ring, you know what I mean? I've been rapping for a while. I ain't been jumping in the ring like, you know,
Right.
you can't leave, you know. It's like, it's not a comfortable space, you know what I mean? But you have to find peace within that. And I think it's like a metaphor for life in general, especially in the things we do where it's like we're ambitious and we desire elevation. So you have to find how to make sense of it and perform at your best and find some peace in the midst of a chaotic environment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You stepped out of your comfort zone and got into acting.
Word.
And I've been watching The Shy this season.
Oh, that's what's up.
You was on last season. It was season before. You killed somebody.
Yeah,
you outside
went
doing
away
that.
for a little while.
Now you're the brother with the voice of reason.
Right.
Like, it's almost like, if you think about it, it kind of is you, right? Like you reformed into a better person. And how was the acting for you, aside from, you know, being an artist? Because that's easy for you. We know you could rap your ass off, but this is a new space with the acting. Was it harder, easier? Did you remember your lines with no problems?
Yeah, the lines is not an issue, man. But like you said, it is outside of my comfort zone. And so I just started studying it. Like a few years ago, I was in France for the Cannes Film Festival.
Yeah.
And I bumped into Common and Yassine Bey. And it was ill. You know, I'm just in the south of France, just kicking it with them.
That's
And I'm asking Common, how did you do that? You know, how did you get so deeply into this film and TV space? And he was like, man, you got to study the craft in the way that you did with music, and you continue to do with music. I'm forever a student in music, always listening to new things. And so when he gave me that piece of game, I was living in LA at the time. I went back, I started taking acting classes. I started getting acting coaches, I did an improv class, you know, and just studying it for real. And for this role in The Shy, it was honestly the culmination of that. Obviously, it's a process, and I'm improving, I'm learning, but I have been studying it for a handful of years. And so this time around, where I really had an opportunity, multiple opportunities to express and emote and, you know, really show my chops and be emotional and be a real person, have conversation.
Right.
Then I was just studying it. So you might have just seen me outside just walking around in character. You know what I mean?
That's dope.
Just, you know
Right.
what I mean? Just
All the way locked in.
No, locked in, like really catching that vibe. And like you said, though, L'Oreal, it was also like this character also had many similarities to my real life. Like I do have a little sister.
Yeah.
And at times our relationship has been distant. And so that in itself was emotional for me. So I'd be doing a scene and my little sister on the show, she'd be like, why are you crying? And I'm like, man, you know.
It hits too close.
No, it was hitting different. It was hitting like, it was real. And I think that people can feel that when they watch the show. It's like when I make music, sometimes the songs that bring me to tears while I'm creating them will be the ones that will hit people the deepest. And I can tell when I have a real life emotional connection to the art I'm making than somebody who's ingesting it or, you know, watching or listening will also have a real emotional connection to it.
Right.
For sure. Lo started to bring it up a second ago. We got to go there, man. The Black Star Line Festival. You and Chance, you know what I mean?
That
You
was
got
dope.
us all moving to Ghana.
Man, right? Last year Ghana, this year Kingston.
They love you in Ghana.
Look,
know.
I'm ready to go. My bags is packed.
Well,
I don't
this
even
year
need no
is
bags.
Kingston, though, right?
Yeah, we're
This
gonna
year's
go
Kingston.
to Jamaica.
But for the people that don't know, the reason it was Ghana last year, that was brought on by you because your family.
Yeah, my family
Ghana.
is Ghanaian.
Yeah.
So my father's from Ghana, and his entire family lives there. He's the only one. Yeah, he's the only one that ever came to America.
So they got back Meek Mill's phone?
I heard Meek Mill's phone dropped when he was doing a wheelie on the bike,
So
man.
they didn't rob him for his phone. That's not what happened.
Ghanaians don't really rob,
I heard
man.
that.
You know.
They find and keep.
Yeah.
That's different. We all
That
do
might
that.
happen. But no, Ghanaians don't really rob. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ghana is it's a very respectful and peaceful place. At the same time, there are a lot of things going on. There's a lot of struggle. Right now, the youth are uprising because, economic situation is dire.
Right.
And people are really struggling. People are working 3 jobs and still can't pay for food. So that's serious.
Yeah.
But also, Ghana, like I said, is a very peaceful place. Like, you go there and this weight lifts from your shoulders because it's not the same way that we be in America and, you know, I'm in Chicago, head on a swivel. Right. You know, even when I'm in Atlanta, I don't know the city very well, but I'd be like in the parking lot of JR Crickets and I'd be like, who's that? You know what I mean?
Because you're at JR Crickets.
Yeah, what they doing over there?
No,
you know,
yeah, that's true.
In Ghana, you start to realize pretty quickly that this is an entirely different situation. It's a different environment. I don't have to be in fight or flight mode in the
What
same way.
inspired the festival for you guys to even create that?
It was really inspired by just realizing that I had been in this music industry for quite some time, and I'm from Ghana, and even I had never performed in Africa. And I'm meeting people who are like, yo, we've been following your music for 10 years. Like, we know verses and songs you done forgot about. We got your tattoos on our bodies, you know? And so I was in Ghana, then South Africa, and I was just realizing there must be a way to build some type of bridge through art, music, culture that can bring the black artists to perform on the continent, because there's a lot of man-made division between us and misunderstandings, and people here believing, oh, they don't accept us in Africa. Africans thinking black Americans are this way, they're that way. But all of that is really just tools of division by the people that oppress us. And so I was thinking there's got to be a way to build this bridge, and it's going to require friends and favors. You know what I mean? Because the money don't translate the same way. So the first person I really talked to about it was Chance, because he came to visit me in Ghana that same time frame. And he loved the idea, and, you know, he has that same type of spirit. And so we started speaking to different artists, and a lot of people got on board. You know what I mean? I think that in our hip-hop consciousness, there's always been this idea of back to Africa, you know? Because in our black consciousness, this is inseparable from our experience.
Right.
You know, you got Nas and Belly like, let's go to Africa, babe.
And everybody
She's like,
wanted to go.
Africa's far. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it's like in real life, you know? But I be telling people, like, man, if you bought one less pair of Balenciaga shoes, you know what I mean? Or you got one less pair of Off-White shades or something, you know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't buy bottles at the club for a couple weekends. You could save up enough for a ticket to go somewhere that would probably change your life and your perspective on yourself, on the world.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think they put the fear, and it's really just America, that they put the fear in Americans that Africa is a scary place, or a place that you're not safe, or it's poor. Because even when I was coming from off the plane, I went to Morocco, and I was getting from off the plane, they're like, be careful, sex trafficking, your phone's not gonna work. Like, it's almost like they try to stop you from going. And then I got there and saw H&M, and and it was beautiful out there, you know? And I'm like, oh, they trying to keep us from being here.
Yeah.
Because if we're here, we can be greater and we can build more, and there'll be things that we can bring to Africa that we can, you know, join together, and it's black. And that's something that I feel like they don't want us to have, is the unity, and like Americans or America. And the, like, especially when it comes to like politics, and I seen you talk, you're heavy on.
And resources.
Everything.
Yeah.
Resources, business, you know, joining forces, that's dangerous for the power structure.
Dangerous.
You know what I'm saying?
But that's dangerous for you. You don't think, because in a sense, when I look at any other artist, the history of people that have tried to do that were in jeopardy or their lives were in danger, like a Bob Marley, where everybody, if you look at it, they're like, the government is what killed Bob Marley because he was trying to get people together.
For sure.
You know, so are you ever in fear of your moves maybe putting a target on you in another way?
Man, I've been on those CIA lists a long time, you know. But no, I wouldn't say I live in fear of that because I just generally like make a decision to not live in fear. And I think that I'm also at a place where I try to do so many good things for so many people that obviously no good deed goes unpunished at times. But I'm moving in a way where I'm not fearing anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Fear is the enemy of man. That's what separates man from God is fear. And so I just make a decision to not hold that in my heart. And connecting people is a beautiful thing. Of course, it's dangerous for the power structure. Of course, it has brought a target onto many people. And I speak about that in the album, too. You know, I'm like, Kwame Nkrumah, look at Malcolm, look at Martin. When you unifying shooters, then your ass become a target.
Right.
You know, and that's real life. But at the same time, it's like, it must be done. You know, the people got to know. They have to know that Africa's not something to fear and that there's so much more than poverty there. We just been brainwashed. You remember that UNICEF commercial with that fly?
With the fly.
Land on your forehead.
I remember the comedian, who was it? Was it Michael Blackson? He was like, where is this? Where is this? Like, it's like not like that at all.
Shout out to Michael Blackson, man.
Yeah.
Michael Blackson is from Ghana too, yeah.
But whether it's you trying to connect that or even speaking out against police brutality, like you've always kind of stood on things that were politically could put a target on your back. 16 Shots, the song, Laquan McDonald's. I remember, you know, seeing you perform that song. Like, like he's really speaking up. Like, this is how people
like
feel.
Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
You know, the police was trying to boycott me at that performance.
Get out of here.
Because I had like this ill theatrical Lollapalooza performance where I had a large group of actors in riot cop gear. And they trying to tear me down, pull me back, and I'm like breaking free, you know? It was ill.
It
and
was
so,
like, oh, hell no.
So people told me the police was like around trying to block people from coming and being like, don't go to that show, you know? You know, that's what you're going to deal with, man. It's like, this is a racist, sexist, capitalist society that is created on our oppression, you know what I'm saying? And so I've definitely always, in my music, made sure to use it as a vessel for truth because there's so much misinformation. So many of our own people don't even know the truth about what's going on. And they think the answer to our problems is more cops.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Let your car get broken into real quick. You like, man, they need to put some more cops.
That's a fact. I'm like, where's the police?
You know, because people don't have the political education. It's not the people's fault. You know, the education is being intentionally removed from the schools. The access is being intentionally removed from the states. I mean, even in Georgia right now, can you even get an abortion if you were to be raped?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, these are the doings of the people that want to send you more cops.
Yeah.
You know? And so as artists, man, I feel like if we have a platform of voice and information, then that's when you have a responsibility. I don't give that responsibility to everyone. Everybody may not have the information, you know what I mean? But if you do, which I always have or attempted to have, then you got a responsibility to say something.
For sure.
Sometimes in your stance, you make great statements where some people, it might even go over their head. So like a few years ago, you wore a Confederate outfit and it was like a dress or whatever.
That's crazy.
And, you know, some people maybe missed the message. And I heard a lot of people just saying like, oh, okay, well, now he's coming out the closet. Instead of it being, this is the statement that I'm trying to make, that it's like, be yourself, you know, a middle finger to America, whatever the case. Do you feel misunderstood when it's certain things you're trying to get out there?
Oh, yeah, that outfit was misunderstood for sure.
So you wasn't coming out the closet?
Fuck no. But you know, I was doing punk rock music, man, and I was really making a statement I was making a statement that was in support of the trans community.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At the same time was like just controversial, anti-Confederate, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, that was definitely not really understood by people. But at the same time, man, it's like, as an artist, I guess I've never been afraid to take chances, you know what I'm saying? And not every chance you take works out, you know? But still, the video was actually ill, though. I actually directed the video. Okay. And, you know, would I wear it now? No.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But right then, where my head was at, I was like, you know, because you see a lot of people do something like that. You know what I mean? I know Yachty had a video, he was in a dress. Tyler had a video where he was dressed. I didn't see this Thug. I don't know if I remember the same types of conversations, but they probably existed. Ultimately, it's like, I'm like a sex symbol. Like I can't keep women off of me. You know what I mean? Like
the way you said it though, like I'm like a sex symbol.
I see that.
It's more of my process to like try to keep women off of me. You know what I'm saying? And
it's
so for sure.
I can see that
problem.
So I'm like,
Kyle, I don't think you can relate.
I'm also like, yeah, you know, I'm secure in my sexuality in that way. It's like I know who I am. And the internet is a vast place. You know what I mean? People that test you on the internet and never say nothing to you in real life, you know.
Every day.
They'll say the craziest things, and they wouldn't say it when they see you in real life.
Facts.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Chicago, man, and the landscape of hip-hop. Everybody's been celebrating 50 years of hip-hop this year. There's been so much influence coming out of Chicago, you know, whether we're going back to the days where, you know, Po Pimp and you know, everything
shout out to Do or Die, man.
Yeah, huh?
I said shout out to Do or Die,
yeah,
man.
for sure. All the way up to where we are today.
Word.
And there's, you know, you, G Herbo, of course, you know, just so much. Where do you see Chicago in the landscape of hip hop, and what are some of the biggest influences coming out of Chicago in your eyes?
I think Chicago is hugely influential, you know, even down to the lingo, you know. Like my girl's from Atlanta. She lives in Chicago with me, but she was telling me about a hotel in Atlanta called the Thought Marriott. It's like downtown.
The Marriott is mad funny.
The downtown Marriott. And I was laughing. It made me think for a brief moment because I'm like, even something like that, like a word as far-reaching as thought, that's Chicago slang. Right. You know what I mean? People don't even know. This whole gang, all it, you know what I mean? Like, those things come from Chicago.
Right.
Chicago is so deeply in the fabric of hip-hop. Even the modern emphasis on the fashion, you know what I mean? And the way that that's so tied into the culture of hip-hop has existed a long time, but in its modern iteration at high fashion, couture things, we know who that comes from. It comes from Kanye. Rappers at fashion shows. How many rappers was I just with at Paris Fashion Week?
Everybody.
This comes from Kanye.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's true.
Rappers coming and sitting at fashion shows, things like that. Even the sound, though, you know, like that Chicago soul sample sound. That's a Chicago and a Midwest thing. Obviously, Motown is Detroit, but a lot of things are directly traced to Chicago. I don't know that we always get the credit for it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But those that know, you know. There's drill music all over the planet from a Chicago thing. They went to London, they made their own joint. Then went to New York.
Did drill
Pop
music
Smoke
start
and
in
them got
Chicago?
big.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I'm telling
So
you.
I didn't realize that because the overseas guys got the hold on it. Like when it got to Brooklyn and the Bronx, they like, no, that's our sound.
That's
I
what
was
I'm
so
telling you.
confused.
Yeah, drill music is originally, that was the original music that Keith and Dirk, Herb,
Oh, I
DJ
didn't think
Els,
about
that's what it was
that.
called. And
Yeah.
so the whole culture of drilling is like some Chicago gangbanging shit. And so that's what I'm saying. It's deep, though. People don't even know how super deep the influence of Chicago is
I agree.
globally. But at the same time, man, it's like we just keep innovating, we keep creating. And, you know, one thing I think about with Chicago is that we as artists in Chicago need to learn how to collectivize our power. You know what I'm saying? That's a larger issue in hip hop, but particularly in Chicago, the gang politics and the street politics sometimes stand in the way of collaboration and growth, in the way that in Atlanta you see these guys really connect and everybody makes tapes together and perform. So I'm sure there's a lot of ops going on, but Chicago op culture is really, it's divisive and it stands in the way. You know what I'm saying? And it's finesse. It's like brainwashing. We've been brainwashed to think that people are ops of ours because they're from a certain block, certain neighborhood. Nobody owns these blocks or these neighborhoods that's black, you know, but we want to die for them. So I think that sometimes that the reality of the street politics and things in Chicago can hold Chicago back, you know.
So what do you think about when you have the situations where it's like Dirk and them are like saying, okay, we're going to stop with the violence, right? And I'm going to stand up and say first, I don't have no problems with nobody else. I don't have problems in Chicago. We're just all going to be peaceful. Do you think that actually is going to benefit and people will follow suit? Or is it just so far gone that it's like a little more work to do than that?
Well, there's always more work to do, but I think that it has to be applauded when somebody can exhibit growth like that and can make a stand and a decision on a very large, high platform to be anti-violence, you know.
Right.
That's great, you know what I mean? Because our violence is always against ourselves. And that's counterproductive to anything, you know. All the violence is directed against somebody that looks just like you from the exact same circumstances as you, maybe from the same neighborhood, a few blocks away. That can't be helping anything. So for them to make a statement like that, I think that's dope. That's an amazing first step, you know what I mean? It's got to be the next generation, though. This generation is smoked.
Yeah, smoke like your weed company. Let's talk about that.
The barbecue.
That is hilarious.
So you're sober, so you're not smoking.
Right now, yeah. Right now, I'm
But
not.
you want us to get high. Did you bring
I want to get
samples?
y'all high. You know, I had to stop flying with illegal drugs.
Oh, yeah, because I'm pretty sure
Something.
that's all they need is a little bit of something to have on you.
Yeah,
Exactly.
found
Yeah.
something. They gonna pull out a little bag, like.
Yeah.
You
Okay,
know.
so when we come to Chicago.
Oh, I
we're
got
gonna
you.
start-
100%. You come to
I'm gonna fly there
Chicago?
just to come pull up to get some because I'm
I'm
one
gonna
of
tell
those.
you, I can't wait for everybody that's here to come to Chicago.
But okay, Kingston is going down. Y'all
Yes.
doing the festival.
Yeah.
Everybody who's anybody was at the festival last year. So I know everybody's pulling up to Kingston. The only thing, I know you got a girl, Chance got a wife. We seen the video of Chance dancing now. Are you sure y'all want to do it in Kingston?
Kingston is a vibe, though.
Yeah.
Because we don't want him dancing too close and getting in trouble again.
Right. No,
So
you know,
what made y'all choose
you
Kingston?
gotta keep a little bit of distance on the wine.
For sure.
Give a little. You know, Jamaica is deeply connected to Ghana, actually.
Really?
Many of the Jamaicans are descended from Ghanaians. So in Jamaica, they have a community called the Maroons, who were the Africans that escaped from slavery, fought back, and won their independence way early because they was in the mountains and the British couldn't even see them. And, you know, they have like Ghanaian words still in their patois. Like I went up in the mountains to one of the Maroon communities. It was crazy. And they know where they're from. They still had Ghanaian names, like the most famous Maroons.
Really?
And the Black Star Line is based off of Marcus Garvey's shipping company. And so Marcus Garvey was a Jamaican revolutionary, basically, who like, this must have been the 20s.
Yeah.
He mobilized hundreds of thousands of people, like young, you know what I mean? Like in his late 20s, early 30s, was like having hundreds of thousands of people. And they shut him down, like locked him up in America for some regular, you know, bullshit, mail fraud is what they said.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? Because he was too powerful. He was mobilizing hundreds of thousands of black people in the 1920s
That's crazy.
to be like self-positive and to be proud of their African heritage. And ultimately, he was going to take them back to Africa. So that's why we call it the Black Star Line, because that was his shipping company that he built to, you know, take people from America and from the islands to Africa. So he was Jamaican. So that was really why it made sense to go to Jamaica.
Is there a list of countries/cities that you guys can continue the Black Star Line Festival? Do you have a list of other
Would
places?
love to do. Yeah, would love to do Nigeria. Would love to do South Africa, Ethiopia, Kenya, Brazil, America.
We outside.
Yeah.
Outside.
We outside. We pulling up too.
For sure. And for the people that don't know, really quick, you guys have been doing it like right leading up into the new year.
Yeah, we did it
No.
January 6th this
Just
year.
after the
Like,
new
yeah.
year.
Yeah,
Just
but
after the new
we
year.
did it January 6th this year, but we're looking at June now.
See, I
for
like
this
that.
upcoming
Yeah,
year.
good for
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
summertime.
for sure.
Word.
Because people need to be off. Some people ain't off in January. That's actually when we go back to work, and that's why I couldn't attend.
That's why I
Yeah.
couldn't go
That's
last
when
year
we got
either.
we
Yeah.
was off for 3 weeks,
Right.
and then you did your festival.
Right.
Yep.
And
the
I had to
next
come to
day.
work.
Dang.
Yep, for
Dang.
sure.
So I just had to live through
Next
y'all
time.
Instagram posts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
next
Chance
time.
came in here bragging how he was going. I was like, nice, have fun.
Yeah, for sure.
That's funny.
All right, bro. We definitely appreciate you, man. We want everybody to go out and support the album Victor, which is in stores now as well. You got some heat on there.
Appreciate
Is there any
y'all.
last
man.
words you want to leave with the listeners just about the album or anything else, man?
Man, I just want to send love to y'all. I appreciate you guys for having me. It means a lot to me for you to give me an opportunity to speak my mind. And shout out to the city of Atlanta and everybody listening in 25 different
Yeah.
Yeah.
cities now. You know what I'm
sure.
saying? You can follow me at Vic Mensa everywhere and Victor album in stores now.
And we not
Yes.
saying it's good just because he's sitting here. The album is fire.
album is fire, bro.
And
Yeah.
obviously, we know you can spit your ass off. But y'all need to go and get that right now.
Absolutely.
Now.
Hey.
Now.
Support Vic Mensa.
Love,
Shout out to
man.
you. Shout out to the whole Chicago, man. Y'all know what it is. It's the Morning Hustle.
Hey.
All right.
We are the Morning Hustle.